So I don't know if any of you have had that feeling where you watch the speaker in front of you and you think, no, that talk I was going to give was really boring. So this is a bit of a sort of off-the-cuff thing of bits and pieces from other things. This is going to work. Centre for Digital Music. We're at Queen Mary University of London. That's just in East London from here. Well, at least most of it is. Actually, this building is part of Queen Mary University of London as well, which I occasionally forget. Before we start, there are lots of people that have done the stuff that I talk about here. Here is a photograph from a couple of years ago, but there's a very long list of stuff. So really what we do is about digital technologies for understanding and innovation in music and audio. So some of this is from the techie side, which is, I'm an electronic engineer. How can I take music and analyse things that already exist? We're quite a big group now. We didn't used to be this big. We sort of started about 10 years ago with 2 academics and about 3 or 4 PhD students at postdoc, and it's built up a bit since then. We've been quite good at getting research funding to keep things going. And we've got another couple since then, so I haven't actually built all the calculations in. I think one of the things that what Robert was talking about this area being collaborative and friendly, one of the things that really helps you to get grants is to be collaborative and friendly with other people to help you to build the right team to solve problems. And if you could do that, then you can make a really good case for why you should be allowed to do stuff. If you say, I'm going to do it all and I'll have all the glory, nobody's going to give you it because you can't do it all by yourself. So I think that's one of the lessons that really we've helped to learn. So we've done loads of conferences. For those of you not in the field, music information retrieval, independent component analysis, MPEG you might recognise, and computer music modelling and retrieval was the most recent one this year on music and emotion. And it's really great actually for me to be able to see all this stuff about how people talk about mood on these sort of 4 diagrams. Really more complicated than that. So it's the sort of thing where you realise if you talk to the people that know their stuff, the things that you think you might have known are just rubbish. So anyway, we do some teaching because so our research ought to help to help other people to learn about this stuff. I'll mention a bit more about this. And we like to have international visitors. So if you want to come and visit us, and we've got a spare desk, and we try and make sure that we keep some spare desks, then come and visit us, spend a day, a week, 3 months, something. And it helps us to get new ideas come into our group, and we think it also helps to share the ideas that we've got to other people as well. And so we've now had to move things around a little bit, so we've got some slightly smaller desks for visitors, because they don't need as many books. But we still hope that we can, we've got enough seats for people that don't have the backs broken off, because those have now been chipped out and we've got some proper seats now. Okay, we do various bits of software, and I'll mention 1 or 2 of those, and partnership with some people that will recognise themselves in here. So our research areas, we used to have a simpler diagram from this, and we still don't quite know what diagram it is. It's not as complicated as the one we saw earlier, but anything from computational creativity, some real musical score, that's up there. This is a bit of stuff from sound source separation. Can you take this frequencies up here and time here and separate into different bits, and that's the machine listening bit. We do some interesting things on birdsong as well, which is not so much musical, but around from here. A picture of a studio, that's actually our listening room. From there, that's Kurt Jacobsen over the side there, who will appear later on. And a bit of Daisy phone, so this is interaction stuff of Nick Ryan Kinsey's things in here. So all of this stuff around here are different bits of what we do. So these things are mathematical models of music. This is not creating music specifically, but using technology to understand music in a different way. So I'm going to give a couple of demonstrations of some things that have come out from here. So one of them is an example of live beat tracking. So this is work by Andrew Robertson, who did his PhD. He's now a research fellow. So the idea, okay, this is the techie diagram, but if you've ever played in a band or listened to a band that has backing music that you have to play live, the drummer wears headphones and they turn into a robot who has to listen to the click track and go bonk, 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 bonk when the click track is playing. And Andrew's got this great video, which I don't have to have here, of, I think it's U2 from 15 years ago and last year, and it's exactly the same because it's following exactly the same click track. And he really wants to get rid of this, and instead of having the human slave to the computer, let's have the computer slave to the human. And so stick a microphone in front of the drum, get that to follow this, and use Ableton Live or whatever to follow with that. So here's a bit of a video from there. Some other things. This one's not really going to work without the audio, but basically this is some work on taking sounds and manipulating them. So you could take, for example, an opera singer and get rid of vibrato, change the pitch, undo vibrato. This is work from Wen Shui. Here we've also got some sonic visualizer software, and this is free download software with the ability to put plugins in the back. George, are you going to mention anything about this? Yeah, a little bit of that. So, yeah, so George will show that, and it's actually one of the reasons that we did this. It's come up over a number of years. It's how to get the research that we do out to be used by more people. So usually what you do in a university research lab is you do some research, you write a research paper, you send it off to a journal, and then you think, right, okay, done now, go on to the next thing. And nobody ever reads it, and then you've wasted your life. So what we realised was that we're in this field where the sort of research that we do could be really useful for people. So we have to put in that extra little bit of effort to turn it into software that's really going to work, and that's this plugins stuff here that we do. And so Sonic Visualizer is really a framework that does the display stuff, and then you build these plugins at the bottom that do analysis of things, and George will talk a bit more about that and how the same plugins can be used on other things. So the thing I was going to mention, the music on Ontology, this is the joining things together stuff, the open linked data that Robert talked about earlier on. And in this music field, this was something that my colleague Mark Sandler was really clear that this was something that needed to happen in the research field. And so some of the things like John Peel sessions and magnitude data and Music Brainz ends up in here was something that we helped along with, and we got some funding to work with Music Brainz to build some of the data into here. And what this this is a couple of years ago now, it's sort of grown into a rather bigger chart, and I'd hate to think what it looks like now. I mean, I will do a little bit of, so this is one that I happen to have. This is the Catfish Smooth software that Kurt Jakobsen built as part of his PhD. So this allows you to find connections between things, and as long as I'm not doing too much from here, I'll just do a little bit of this. So if I have to pick a band from Glasgow, Simple Minds, and pick out the one here, this is because I last did the demo in Glasgow, it will actually find various connected bits of stuff from sources that are on this semantic web. So you've got YouTube videos, you've got other sort of downloadable tracks here, but you've also got via the other sort of sources of the translated Wikipedia data. Datapedia, I always get the wrong name for that. DBpedia, yes. Thank you. All this stuff like other artists from Glasgow, other British new waves musical groups. Oh, Tears for Fears, I hadn't noticed that one. Sorry, I'm just showing my age here. So Tears for Fears, it will find out, and okay, no, well, anyway, and so all of these things will give us other rock music duos, other 1980s music, other musical groups. Right, okay. So who's Metallica? Was that? Anyway, Talk. I haven't heard them for ages. Okay, so
apparently you did good work.
Right, and so there's a little something at the top here that all of this is linked together with Music Brainz ID. So it's very nice to see that. So this is something that really Kurt now works for the Echo Nest in Boston. Went to visit him over there. So I'm sure some of them will be over for this weekend. Okay, so then just last couple of bits after that. We various people, that is Kurt again, yes, get out and do things of getting our stuff out and public engagement with people. These are a couple of old things. We did an installation underneath the London Bridge station in the space under there, and we also contributed to Schools magazine. So one of the things that we're interested in doing recently, and this is work by our lab manager Ho Quen and Andrew McPherson, is a project called the Arduino Tar. So this is a cardboard cutout guitar. The original one actually was literally a piece of cardboard with an Arduino on it, and in about 30 minutes a group of school kids can hack this together into a bit of electronics which you can then play. I really need to have one here, but we just started on this, and you get to play your guitar at the end of this. And this is something that's done with Team Tech. For those of you that used to watch Tomorrow's World, this is Maggie Philbin's project, and now has royal support from Duke of York, I think, as of last week. And so this is something that we really think is exciting as a way to engage young people with technology through the other interests they've got. So they don't just give up their maths A-level because they think they want to go off and do something else, but they could actually go into electronic engineering or something technically interested from there. Okay, so at this point, George is going to say a little bit about another couple of projects that we've been doing, particularly on the data side. So I'll hand over to George. Thanks very much.